I now give the floor to the delegation of Greece.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for convening this urgent meeting upon the request of the European members of this Council. I also wish to thank Assistant Secretary General Mr. Miroslav Jenca and OCHA Director Mr. Ramesh Rajasingham for their briefings. Only days ago, the international community gathered in New York with a clear yet urgent message. The war in Gaza must end, the two-state solution must be realized, Palestinians, Israelis, and all peoples of the region deserve a fair chance at peace. Yet, recent developments seem to have pushed this proposal further out of reach. We condemn Israel's decision to further expand its military operations in Gaza, and we urge Israel to reconsider it. Such actions would endanger the lives of all civilians in Gaza, deepen the humanitarian suffering, and exacerbate the anguish over the fate of the remaining hostages. They would also worsen the already dire humanitarian situation in Gaza and risk further loss of life and large-scale displacement of Palestinians. We strongly oppose any attempts to forcibly displace the Palestinian population and reiterate that any potential annexation of Gaza or any other part of the occupied Palestinian territories would contravene international law and numerous Security Council resolutions, including Resolution 2334, would jeopardize regional stability and security and would undermine the prospect of a two-state solution. Mr. President, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is severe and worsening. Hospitals are overstretched, starvation and malnutrition, especially among children, are worsening, access to clean water remains limited, and civilians risk their lives daily in search of food. We cannot turn a blind eye to this tragedy, nor remain silent while hostages continue to suffer at the hands of Hamas. We call once again for the immediate, unimpeded, and large-scale delivery of humanitarian aid to Gaza. The blockade must be lifted, civilians and humanitarian workers must be protected in accordance with international humanitarian law, and the work of the aid agencies should be facilitated. Greece has taken concrete steps to alleviate suffering in Gaza. Just yesterday, in close cooperation with the European Union and other partners of the region, we conducted an airdrop of food supplies over Gaza. We also stressed the need to fully implement the humanitarian steps agreed upon between Israel and the European Union to improve the situation in Gaza. The expertise of the United Nations systems, particularly UNRWA, is pivotal. In addition, OCHA, as we have just heard again today, has repeatedly expressed its readiness to initiate a UN-coordinated humanitarian plan in the event of a ceasefire or pause in hostilities. We reaffirm our unwavering support for the agency in this regard. Mr. President, Greece's position remains principled and consistent. We have repeatedly condemned the atrocities of October 7. Hamas rule in Gaza must end. All hostages must be released immediately and unconditionally. At the same time, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza must be addressed without delay, and we remain steadfast in our support for the international call to implement the two-state solution. Mr. President, violence in all its forms is never the answer. Dialogue and diplomacy are the only viable path to lasting peace. We therefore call on both parties to agree to an immediate and permanent ceasefire, to secure the release of all hostages, and to advance efforts towards a two-state solution in line with relevant Security Council resolutions, while guaranteeing Israel's right to exist in peace and security. I thank you.
I thank the delegation of Greece for your statement.